I know. I'm ranking roller coasters I haven't ridden, but I thought it was a cool idea, and I haven't seen anyone else do this before. In his video, there are 23 roller coasters featured, but that's interesting because in that video, he said that there would be 30. Anyways, it's time to get into the ranking. In last place is Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas. This ride looks to center around those vertical loops without much happening anywhere else. There are a couple airtime pops that look to provide strong floater to ejector airtime, and the loops could provide some of the strongest positives out there. I don't see much else, but it does look to be a sleeper hit at this park. Taking the 22nd spot is Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Florida. This ride was one of the most underrated roller coasters out there. It provided some great airtime moments in the non-inverting loop and the pops into the brake runs. It also had some great moments of positives all around. There were some weak moments, and the constant brake runs did get a little tiresome by the third or fourth one. It didn't deserve all the hate, but I can see why Universal tore this ride down. In the 21st spot is Ultra Twister at Nagashima Spa Land. It's all about the gimmick of the track being around the train, and it looks to execute that idea very well. The Heartline rolls may not have super memorable forces, but with the track setup, they look insane. It probably gets infinitely more insane in the second half when they're taken backwards. I just don't know what else to say about this ride. In 20th place is Wicked Twister at Cedar Point. To me, this looked to be the best or second best Intamin impulse coaster. I don't know if I would like Steel Venom's holding brake more than this ride's insane looking twisted backwards vertical spike. That must have been crazy in the back row. Other than that, it looks to just be the same as Steel Venom. It's got that punchy launch and the positives going into the spikes. It may have been a filler ride at Cedar Point, but it looked to be a good one. Taking 19th place is Skyscream at Holiday Park. This one was hard to find, but I figured it out by seeing Expedition G-Force in the background. These Skyrocket 2s look to have some of the most overlooked forces out there. The airtime going over the twisted vertical drop looks insane, and the Heartline roll 150 feet above the ground would for sure freak me out. I can't wait to eventually get on this ride, or one of the others of this model. Taking the 18th spot is Rockin' Roller Coaster, or whatever it's called now, at Hollywood Studios. For an old Vekoma coaster, this ride looks really solid. I've heard that this ride is pretty smooth, and the positives look pretty strong. Also, this ride, which happens to have inversions, is at a Disney park. This is something they would absolutely not do today. In the 17th spot is King Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure. This ride looked like it deserved to be the icon of this park in the eyes of the general public. It had a launch that looked to almost make someone's face rip off. Though the launch was the main talking point, the top hat looked to have crazy airtime on the top and crazy laterals going down it, plus the insane views. I'm not joking, you could see New York City and Philadelphia if you were standing at the top of the top hat. It had an impressive legacy, not just at the park, but in the whole world. In 16th place is Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. This ride really has a presence at this park. The winged seating makes some ordinary elements like the zero-G roll through the keyholes legendary. The Camelback isn't really different because of the seating arrangement, but I still got some floater airtime there. The finale is kind of lame, but again, it's the finale. If there's one spot to put the lame elements, it's the finale. This ride really is a fine addition to Cedar Point's collection. Taking 15th place is Banshee at Kings Island. It may not be the most snappy B&M invert, but it does look to pack the positives. It does look to pull some strong positives whenever it's not inverting. The zero-G roll and inline twist look to be taken slowly, but they do look to have crazy hang time for an inverted coaster. Like Gatekeeper, it's just another solid addition to the park it's in. Taking the 14th spot is Cannibal at Lagoon. In the past, I've said that this ride looks like a souped up Gerstlauer, and I still stand by that take. The inversions 100 plus feet in the air would definitely freak me out on top of that insane beyond vertical drop. I also loved how this ride's mid-course slows the train to get the best hang time possible in the lagoon roll. This ride definitely makes the lonely trip to northern Utah worth it. Up next is Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. From what I've heard, this ride is a somewhat scaled up version of Superman Ultimate Flight at Six Flags Great America. The inversions look more intense and a little snappier. I've heard that this ride has some decent theming. Overall, it's definitely a high priority for me when I eventually go back to Florida. In the 12th spot is Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure. This ride is nothing but intense elements until the ending. Elements like the vertical loops and Cobra Roll are filled with grey-out, inducing positives. And the first corkscrew and zero-G roll pinned me to the side of the train. The incline launch caught me way off guard when I first rode it. This ride definitely lets its foot off the gas too early, but the first 2/3 of it heavily overshadow the last third. In 11th place is Steel Dragon 2000 at Nagashima Spa Land. To me, this looks to possibly be the weakest conventional Giga Coaster out there, but if it's anything like Mamba at Worlds of Fun, it would be a great ride. It looks to have the same level of airtime as Mamba, but with the boring high turns of Wild Thing. It may not be the greatest Giga, but it sure is a standout ride. Entering the top 10 is Takabisha at Fuji-Q Highland. This ride may have basic inversions, but it looks to execute them very well. A lot of these inversions look to have some great hang time. The launches look extremely punchy, and the drop looks to provide some insane airtime. Gerstlauer took what they were familiar with and expanded upon it in great ways. Taking 9th place is Gravity Max at Liepowland Discovery World. This ride doesn't have much of a layout, just the drop, a loop, and a helix, but it looks pretty intense and smooth. Besides, it's all about the drop. It looks like something that would freak me out, and that doesn't happen very often. It may be all about the drop, but that drop is an element all coaster enthusiasts will go off the rails for. Taking the 8th spot is X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I've heard that this ride is quite rough, but it looks to be worth it to put up with the roughness. Some of these elements look forceless on their own, but the way the seats rotate look to make those elements really crazy. And the already crazy moments look insane with the rotations like the drop and the fly to lie. To have this ride stand out in a park with 20 roller coasters is surely an impressive feat. In the 7th spot is Nemesis Reborn at Alton Towers. In short, this looks to be one of the best B&M inverts out there. All of the elements look to be above average, but it's the terrain usage and theming that makes this ride great. There are so many moments on this ride that would have to make me curl my legs up to avoid the possibility of hitting the scenery. On top of the terrain usage, this ride also looks to have some of the best theming for any B&M invert. This ride is definitely a priority whenever I get to the UK. Taking the 6th spot is Goliath at Six Flags Great America. This ride may have a short duration, but those elements are some of the best of their kind. The drop, camelback, and pop into the brake run all have fantastic ejector airtime, and the inversions both provide great hang time. The turns definitely are the weakest moments, but they're still pretty fun. This ride was very much a worthy choice to be my 50th credit. Taking 5th place is Monster at Adventureland. This ride takes basic elements from other Gerstlauers, and it contorts them in the weirdest ways. I love how the loop gives the most hang time possible, and how the dive loop provides great airtime and insane whip. I love how there's a trim right before the last two inversions, so they can give as much hang time as possible. This ride doesn't have much of a presence in the enthusiast community, but it deserves to. In 4th place is Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City. Again, this may be a short ride, but all of the elements make up for it heavily. I love all of the sneaky airtime pops throughout the ride, and the inversions have great hang time. Before riding it, I heard it was quite rough, but that wasn't the case for me. There was a weak vibration at most. Just like Goliath, I was dizzy when I got off, and I loved it. This ride and Time Traveler make this park have one hell of a 1-2 punch. Taking the bronze medal is Medusa Steel Coaster at Six Flags Mexico. For an RMC without much of a focus on airtime, this ride looks to deliver in other ways. The turns look to provide great pops of laterals, and the inversions look to flow really well. There are a couple of full airtime hills, and a lot of the turns are accompanied by airtime pops. To me, this ride gets a lot of shit for not having much airtime, but I can look past that and see the ride for what it is. Taking the silver medal is Pantherian at King's Dominion. Now that's a much better name. This ride looks to be one of, if not the most intense roller coaster on the planet. It has positives that might make me black out. If Mamba at Worlds of Fun could make me gray out, this ride could make me black out, and that makes me more excited for it. On top of those positives, the switchbacks look to provide very intense pops of laterals. The airtime might not be too crazy, but this ride isn't about airtime, so it's fine. It's just perfect for what it's trying to be. Taking the gold medal is Fury 325 at Carowinds. This ride is what Giga Coasters should be. It has low to the ground twists that don't look too intense. It has airtime moments that look to provide great floater and weaker ejector airtime. It also happens to be a longer ride with over 6,000 feet of track, which hadn't been done since Millennium Force and Steel Dragon 2000. I hope more conventional Gigas in the future follow in the footsteps of this ride. That will conclude the ranking. I hope you don't hate me for doing something like this again. When I was rewatching the video, I was expecting to cringe a lot more than I did, but it wasn't that bad for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.